But to be the man, you gotta beat the man.
Shadows sleeping in the dead of night. I light the match, they fear my fight. Street I flicker like a war zone flare. They see me rise, but they won't dare. Cement cracks under my stride. Whispers chase me, they collide. Gun dreams heavy like gold chains. Every scar that screams my name. Be legendary, feel the fire in your chest. No second guessing, this is your test.
Yes, sir. Welcome to another episode of the Hoosier Legends Weekly Podcast. I am Justin Spears, going solo this week as we are on fall break. Mr. Walden is out traveling, so I told him I'd hold it down this week and run the show solo. So we're going to have a little bit of an abbreviated show over what we would normally have. We still want to make sure that we run through all of our scores that have come through over the course of the week. And then, as you guys know, we are getting ready to kick off ladies volleyball tonight with their sectionals. We've got the last week of Friday Night Lights coming up before we hit sectional play on the football side, and wrapping up a couple of other things that we want to hit here on the show. So as always, we appreciate you guys tuning in and giving us some support, continue to grow in numbers. So we really appreciate you guys taking the time to share the show out and give us a listen. So as always, our contact information, if you want to reach us by email, if you have any comments, suggestions, feedback, anything like that, you can email us there. The show is up on Spotify. If you search for Hoosier Legends Weekly Podcast, you can find us over there. And then we do post up the show on YouTube. Our YouTube channel there is at Hoosier Legends Podcast. So lots of different ways that you can join in with us on the conversation, the comments, the feedback. We appreciate it all. Again, we continue to receive great feedback and support from our athletic directors at our member schools, so we appreciate that. And just lots of great stuff going on here. Last week, Mike and I talked a little bit about the state of the HLC as we start to wrap up the first season under the new conference. And boy, it's been a lot of fun to be able to follow some of these teams and get to know some of the players. Obviously, as we move more toward the winter and the spring, we hope to be able to bring more coverage as we get to know more of the players and coaches too, and hopefully, again, get information fed to us. Again, we would love to be able to highlight and support your guys' programs. So with that, we always start the show with our legendary performance and spotlight. And this week, that award goes to the Monrovia Girls Soccer program. Monrovia Girls Soccer is the first HLC sectional winning team. They won in PKs over another rival HLC member, Triton Central. It was a great match. I was following along as much as I could online in between Max Preps and X. And 1-1 in regular time and through extended time, and then went to PKs where Monrovia was able to pull off the win there. So congratulations to the Lady Bulldogs. They have now won 4 sectionals in a row in ladies soccer. And if I remember reading through some information on their Twitter account, that is the first team to do that, win 4 sectionals in a row, since their ladies volleyball team did it back in 1999 through 2003. So congratulations to them. They are now 16-3 on the season. And I just wanted to throw some stats out because I know that we had kind of highlighted and talked a little bit about them. They've been on a run of win streak here as they approached, again, sectionals, and now have 16 wins on the season. Just some numbers that I thought were interesting as I did some research. They've scored 125 goals on the season, which is good for 6.6 goals per game. Just to give you some context, the national average is 2.7 goals per game. So almost 3 times the national average of offensive output. They've taken 400 shots on the season. Again, the national average is 141. And they've outscored their opponents this season 125-25. Just phenomenal stuff from the Lady Bulldogs. So congratulations to them. I know the season is not over yet. We hope that you guys are able to keep moving forward. They will take on number 1 ranked Oldenburg Academy tonight at 6 p.m. So if you're in the Monrovia area, or if you're just a fan of soccer, go out there, support the Lady Bulldogs as they go out and advance to regionals for girls soccer. So good luck, Lady Bulldogs. Go get that win and rep the HLC like we know you will. As far as our conference standings, I believe, as we mentioned last week, the last sport to have any kind of standing updates was settled last Friday, and want to give a big shout out and congratulations to Triton Central for winning the HLC championship after they defeated Beech Grove last Friday. Again, I think all fall team conference titles have now been awarded, but boy, I mean, that Triton Central football team, congratulations to those guys. You know, we know and we've seen week in and week out, there's some really solid 2A, 3A, 4A football in this conference, and that's again only going to be added to next year with Greenwood and Shelbyville. But man, Triton just found a way to grind out wins, and that's just gritty, not pretty sometimes, but it doesn't matter. Wins are wins, and I'm sure Coach Abel would say that. Congratulations to those guys. They gutted out some really tough victories along the way. They took their best shot on the road at Tri-West. They took on Indian Creek, and then finishing it off, Friday night against Beech Grove. I know Monrovia gave them a really, really solid game. So, just congratulations to those guys, and we wish you guys all the best as you wrap up regular season play. We'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to do a sectional preview. I want to do it with Mike, so I think we'll do that next week. We'll probably have an abbreviated show that will be mostly football. We'll quickly recap through our volleyball results that we get tonight, and then talk a little bit about the outcome from Monrovia's regional girls soccer game. But we'll probably dedicate a lot of our time next week to covering the last week of the regular season for football, and then do a pretty hopefully detailed sectional preview as well. So looking forward to that. But again, just great work from the Triton Central Tigers on the gridiron there. All right, real quickly, as we move to our school results, again, we don't have a lot going on, with most of the sports wrapping up. I know there's still some cross-country stuff that's going on. I'm going to dig in a little bit more of that. We'll probably throw that in next week as well. I think there's still some stuff being run. Again, that's real sporadic on what we see and what we get for results for that. So whatever we can find, we will be happy to throw in. But we're going to start with the Beech Grove Hornets. And so they, as we take a look at their volleyball, they intersectional play tonight, taking on New Pal. So New Palestine. So good luck to the ladies there on the court. Girls soccer, we did want to mention that after their thrilling opening round win and sectionals last week over Indian Creek, they did drop their contest in the second round of sectionals to Heron to end their season. So good luck, good season there. Congrats on a good season there to the Lady Hornets. I do want to say good luck, as we talked a little bit about last week and spotlighted Harper Moore. I know it's a little bit off of the topic here, but she did play soccer, and we did kind of talk a little bit about her recruitment in softball, and she did commit to Purdue, as we mentioned, where her older sister transferred and plays at now. So, congratulations to Harper on making that decision there, and good luck as you get softball coming up here later on in the year. On the flag football side, the Lady Hornets enter postseason play by defeating Purdue Poly Edgewood 33-20. That set up a match up against Warren Central, and the girls dropped a tough one to the Warriors. The Lady Hornets finished the season 6-3. Way to rep the HLC ladies there. As I know, we've talked about that being an emerging and growing sport. Hopefully we can see more participation and growth across the board there in the future. For Indian Creek volleyball, the Lady Braves will start their sectional playoff tonight against Roncalli Royals. The Royals enter in at 27-5, while the Braves come in at 16-8. So good luck, Lady Braves, as you guys enter into your sectional play. Down to Monrovia, as we take a look at the Bulldogs here. We talked a little bit about, obviously, the win there in girls sectional. So again, they'll be taking on Oldenburg Academy tonight at 6. In volleyball, the Lady Bulldogs open their sectional play against Park Tudor. The Panthers are 14-11 on the season, while the Bulldogs come in at 10-20. So good luck to the Lady Bulldogs as they enter into their sectional play there tonight against Park Tudor. As we move on over to Speedway, only thing cooking there is volleyball, and they will enter sectional play tonight, taking on the Edgewood Mustangs. Edgewood comes in at 16-15 on the season, while the Lady Spark Plugs are 7-21. Again, though, as we always say, with all of our sports being open, everyone makes it into the tournament, which is really great. It's a second season. In reality, everybody is 0-0, right? So you never know, and hopefully the Spark Plugs can pull off an upset there tonight and get that win. For Tri-West, wanted to mention too that their girls soccer opened up sectional play, and they dropped a heartbreaker in the opening round of sectional play to Lebanon, losing in PKs after a 0-0 tie in regulation and in extended time. They lost that in PKs, but congratulations to Lady Bruins on an excellent season, ending as HLC champions and sporting a solid 12-5-1 record. I know many of those girls will turn their attention to the offseason for club play and what I know will be a highly anticipated. They bring back a lot of talent for next season. So I know that they're ready to get to work and start their offseason work today. In volleyball, the Lady Bruins will open up their sectional play tonight in the toughest 3A sectional in the state as they take on Guerin Catholic. The Golden Eagles are 20-7 on the season, while Tri-West stands at 19-12. So good luck. That ought to be a fun contest, and I know that will be a grind for whoever wins that sectional there. For Triton Central, we mentioned the loss in the sectional championship to Monrovia, but the Lady Tigers had an excellent season. We will make sure we shout them out. Just some really great soccer in the HLC on the ladies' side this season. Triton Central finished the season at 11-5-2. Again, good stuff there, and good luck to those ladies as they begin their off season. And then on the court tonight, the Lady Tigers will open up sectional play by taking on a good Eastern Hancock team. The Royals come in at 25-7, while the Tigers come in at 20-8. So both teams in the 20s in regular season wins. So that ought to be a really, really fun contest to take in tonight as well. So again, just good luck to all of the HLC teams that are opening up sectional play, to Monrovia Girls Soccer as they advance into regionals, and to cross-country runners that are still out running as we wrap up the season there. And I do want to mention before we jump into football, too, as we kind of talk a little bit about the transition from the fall to the winter, I didn't realize, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, girls basketball window opens next week. I've seen a couple of places post that they start tryouts, I believe, on Monday. So the window may, in fact, open on the 20th. I know they usually start a couple weeks ahead of the boys there, but I'm starting to see a lot of posts and excitement for winter sports. We'll be really excited to cover, obviously, the basketball scene, but, of course, then, you'll have swimming going on as well. That's always a real fun sport to take in during the winter time. So yeah, just lots of great stuff that'll be going on. Wrestling will be firing up. I know there's probably some pretty good wrestling programs in the HLC, just knowing how tough the football programs are. So that'll be really fun to watch as well. So lots of great stuff that'll be coming down here in the next couple weeks as we transition, and we'll go through, and after we highlight sectional football, we'll probably preview some of those winter sports coming up as well. All right, so as we turn our attention to football, we usually try to throw in some of our statistical leaders. So if we take a look at where we are this week, we start with our passing. Conference is being led by Jack Sorgi at just over 2,000 yards on the season. Bishop Moore coming in at 1158, and followed closely behind Evan Clark at 1157. So definitely some good stuff going on there. On the passing side, on the rushing side, Braden Brown leading the conference now as the only conference rusher over 1,000 yards on the season. So congratulations to Braden for accomplishing over 1,000 yards with still one regular season matchup Friday night, and then postseason play. Carson Parks, Beech Grove, comes in at 873, and Ryder Bain at 763 from Monrovia. Drew Pingleton, the leading rusher for Indian Creek, comes in at 717 yards. The receiving end, you would imagine with Jack Sorgi leading the conference in passing, that Tri-West has a couple up near the top here, and Carter Cummins currently leading the conference at 725 yards. Jackson Ramey down at Indian Creek at 539. Jax Garver coming in at 501. And Tenari Woods at Beech Grove comes in at 474 yards receiving. So good stuff there, fellas. Keep up the great work. On the defensive end, we take a look at total tackle leaders. Abe Haste setting the pace from Tri-West at 88 solo or total tackles. Franklin Wellenbrenner at Beech Grove at 82. Gage Tolan also at 82 from Monrovia, and Peyton Hall close behind at 80 also from Monrovia. When we take a look at our sacks leaders, we got a couple of Tri-West Bruins at the top at 4.5 sacks apiece for Gabe Miller and Jet Lawson. Josh Sayre from Triton Central also in at 4. Dallas Clark at 4 from Triton Central. And then Ty Rowe from Monrovia in at 3.5 sacks. And then wrapping up our defensive statistics on interceptions, Luke Strong from Triton Central is the conference leader with 3. And then we have Jack Taylor, tied from Monrovia at 3 interceptions. And then we have about 5 players tied at 2. So congratulations to Jack and Luke, both with 3 total interceptions on the season. All right, as we turn our attention to the conference standings, as we mentioned at the outset, with our total HLC standings, the last one remaining was football. We mentioned Triton Central comes in at 5-0, Tri-West at 3-1, Indian Creek and Monrovia both at 2-2. Beech Grove at 1-3, and Speedway at 0-5. Again, just want to mention, Triton Central at 7-1, Tri-West at 6-2, Indian Creek 5-3, Monrovia 3-5, Beech Grove 5-3, and Speedway at 0-8 are the overall records there. Again, just really solid football being played across the board. You've got 4 of the 6 teams with winning records as we move in toward the final week. And Monrovia, we know what kind of a schedule they started the season off with and some of the wins that they've been able to secure. Just really solid football across the board. So really kind of excited to see as we move towards this final week of regular season play and look at towards sectional play, what kind of noise these teams can make as we move a little bit further on down the road here. Just quick recap from last week. So we get these scores in. Bedford North Lawrence and Monrovia, we knew that the Bulldogs were traveling down to face the much bigger Stars team. They were able to secure the 31-26 win over Monrovia. It was a really, really close game back and forth. I was following that along on Twitter and Max Preps throughout the night. That was going back and forth, and it was as close as that number indicates there. Indian Creek took care of Speedway 42-7. Bishop Chittard took care of business out at Tri-West 42-13. And then Triton Central, again, as we mentioned, squeaked by Beech Grove 24-20. So the Hornets gave their best shot, but again, Triton Central able to secure that win and get the conference title there. So that moves us into, again, as we mentioned, the final week of regular season play here. So we'll take a look real quickly at our previews and go through predictions here. We're going to have a slate of 4 games as Covenant Christian travels to Speedway. That is going to be a 7:00 kick. Covenant Christian comes in at 2-6 on the season. Speedway at 0-8. Both these teams, obviously trying to build on some momentum as we move toward the end of the season. Harrell has this one at a 31-24 win for Speedway. I do like Speedway getting the win in this game. We've said it consistently over the last probably 3 or 4 weeks that the Spark Plugs have been in a lot of contests, and you just kind of see, usually just, midway through the game, halftime, late in the second quarter, early third quarter, the other team maybe start to pull away from the Spark Plugs. But, as long as I think Speedway is focused, and they appear that they're still playing really solid football, to the best of their ability. I think they can get this one. And I agree with Harold, that I do think that they can get this win. I would see this maybe being something like a 20-17 game, somewhere in that range. I don't know if it would be quite as high scoring, but you never know. You get into a contest like this where both teams are trying really hard, again, to build some momentum. The offense might excel a little bit. Either way, I hope that Speedway can pull off a victory there and get Coach Clampett and the boys a win on the season and build going into sectional play. Our next contest is a HLC contest that shows the Monrovia Bulldogs, again at 3-5, traveling down to Indian Creek at 5-3 on the season. Again, with all of these games this week, with conference already being decided, the attention turns to building momentum towards sectional play. And so it's going to be kind of interesting to see in some of these games, because you might think, well, nothing to play for, but that's not really true. You obviously, you're always going out to play to win the game, as Herm Edwards once said. But you also are, trying to look and see, what can we do to maybe install something that we want to try to break out as we enter into that second season where it's win or go home. So there's always great stuff, that can be taken from these games. So this one here, Monrovia, a little bit like Speedway in terms of just always in the contest, always, battling hard. That 3-5 record, I don't think is really indicative of the type of football that they play down there. It's a really solid team. And as I mentioned, I got to see Indian Creek up front as they came out to Tri-West, and, boy, they just battle hard. That's just, Coach Gooden's got a really, really solid program cooking down there. And I know he is going to get anything and everything he can out of his team. I do see this as a very close matchup. They have not met in the last 40 years, which is crazy to think that, two teams that fairly close, although Monrovia being a 2A school and Indian Creek being a 3A school, that they hadn't played each other before, or at least in the last 40 years. Harold has this one, Indian Creek 31-21. I do think I like Indian Creek to squeak one by here. Again, no knock to Monrovia. I could see them, giving Indian Creek a really, really good contest here. And in fact, I'll snug that up a little bit. I'll go 24-21 Indian Creek over the Monrovia Bulldogs there. All right, moving on to the southeast side of Indianapolis, as Tri-West will travel out to Beech Grove here. Again, we've talked about both these teams pretty regularly throughout the episodes. We know what Tri-West has as far as offensive and defensive talent on both sides of the ball. Clearly, taking on the number 1 4A team in the state last week is you kind of maybe throw that out. I don't even know how much game film you really watch on that. I'm sure you're trying to get something out of it, but really you're kind of coming back into your element here, into your conference. Tri-West is going to be, as we'll talk a little bit more next week about the sectional draw. It's going to be a really, really tough sectional for the Bruins. I know they've got a little bit of an easier contest opening up, but more than likely going to face Cascade in that second round. So you really want to see the team come out, play solid football Friday night against a really, really talented and good Beech Grove team. So this is going to be a really good matchup. You again would like to think facing a team like Bishop Chatard last week, even though, the score shows what it shows, you still are learning, what it's going to take to beat a really good football team. Both teams, again, coming off the losses here, much like Monrovia and Indian Creek, there's no meetings between these two teams in the last 40 years. So I think when you kind of look at where both of these teams are right now, we know we've talked a little bit about the adversity that Beech Grove faced with the ineligible player and having some of their early season momentum, at least on paper, wiped out. Psychologically, what kind of toll did that take? It looked like Coach Mosley did a good job of keeping those boys focused and overcoming that. staying, true to what they were doing on the gridiron there. And so they're a really solid football team. Obviously, we talked about the athletic talent that they have at all their skill positions there. This is going to be a test, I think, for Tri-West. Harold's got this 35-21, so he's got a 2-touchdown win for Tri-West. My gut feeling kind of tells me that this could go one of two ways. That Tri-West, if they're a little motivated, wanting to make a statement, might be able to come out and put this one away pretty easily. Or it could be one of those games where as you go into the fourth quarter, you find yourself tied or even down, to Beech Grove, they've got something to prove as well, right? So it's kind of hard to maybe tell how this one is going to go. I do think, as I said multiple times throughout the season, that when I look at Tri-West in close matchups, and they've had a few of those on the schedule this year, that ultimately what I think it comes down to is maybe having the best player on the field. And I do think that Jack Sorgi meets that criteria in this game. I do think he's smart enough and talented enough to be able to overcome anything that Beech Grove is going to throw at them on defense. And then I think the Tri-West defense is solid enough to contain, maybe not, shut out Beech Grove, but keep them under wraps there. I see this at being a 28-20 win for Tri-West here in this contest. So I think that's kind of maybe how that one's going to go there. Although, again, I think it could be a really tough contest for Tri-West to get that win there. Our final matchup that we'll preview here for the week, it shows Triton Central at 7-1 traveling to Cecina. Just a note for those in the area that may not have seen this already, this game is going to be played at Arsenal Tech. So if you're a Triton Central fan listening to this and you haven't heard that yet or received that information, this game will be played at Arsenal Tech. It's still a 7 o'clock kickoff there between Triton Central and Cecina. Again, when you look at this, I think Cecina, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, played Beech Grove earlier in the year. Beech Grove or Indian Creek, I can't remember which other HLC team they played. And they come in at 5-3 on the year in 2A football. They play a pretty decent schedule here, but I just don't think they're going to have what it's going to take to match up with Triton Central. I think Triton Central's on a mission right now. Their one anomaly was that, lost to a 4A Lebanon team, which is very talented. They also are sitting at 7-1 on the year. So I just see Triton Central being able to come in and pretty much assert their will here. I think the run game is going to kind of dominate this thing and dictate things. And I think they're tough nose on defense. And we've talked up, Coach Abel and his ability to be able to rally the kids and get them ready to close out the regular season, on a win and then turn their attention to sectional play. Yeah, Harold's got this one at 38-17 in favor of Triton Central. And I think that's probably pretty accurate. I could see this being maybe like a 35-20 matchup, somewhere along those lines. Definitely probably a 2-touchdown victory there for the Tigers. So that wraps it up for the preview of the last regular season matchups here for Friday Night Lights. It's been a lot of fun covering these fall sports here. A lot of great things happening. Like I said, can't wait to see what the winter sports are going to bring to us. And we'll, again, look forward next week. We'll preview our sectional matchups. We'll start to take a look at what volleyball is shaping up to look like for teams that advance on. And then if we have some time, start to maybe talk a little bit about what winter sports are going to look like. So riding solo this week, a little bit of a short week. If you're on fall break, hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I know some schools do the 2-week fall break. Some schools do fall break next week. So again, whatever position you're in right now, hopefully you're enjoying the week, and we will look forward to bringing you more Hoosier Weekly podcast content next week. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the week.
My heart sings, I'm with the city streets. I'm not the hero, I'm the storm they fear. Thunder in my veins, crystal clear. Walls try to box me, I'm breaking through.
but to be the man.